Because the owner did not maintain this single steel diesel engine frequently, the engine has already experienced serious oil burning and abnormal noise. In this case, the owner found a repair shop. For repair, the master relied on the steel cover and the engine to separate. In order to disassemble the engine piston, they need to remove the rear cover first. At this time, the internal bearing cap fixing bolts can be clearly seen. The masters only need to remove the connecting rod bearing cap and the engine piston, and the piston connecting rod can be removed together in order to facilitate the cleaning of the entire engine interior. When disassembling the engine flywheel, although the clearance between the flywheel and the crankshaft is relatively tight, they are fortunately able to remove the engine flywheel quickly through the continuous knocking of the small hammer. Before disassembling the engine crankshaft, we must first remove the fixing bolts of the side cover and then loosen the balance block on the crankshaft. The shaft can be easily removed from the steel body. After all the important parts have been disassembled, the master only needs to remove the gear inside the gear plate. The internal top barrel is removed in this way. The single-cylinder engine was easily disassembled. After checking all the parts, the masters found that the connecting rod and the main pin of the fixed piston were also worn. What is more important is that the sealing of the valve seat ring has also had problems. Of course, in this case, there is no need to replace the parts. First, we need to carefully grind the valve seat ring. Then use the tong knife to chamfer the valve seat ring, because only after the uneven valve seat ring is cut to smooth can the sealing of the valve return to normal. In order to ensure that the plane of the steel cover is smooth enough, we need to use the polishing wheel for careful grinding and polishing. After the surface is polished clean, it can be to prevent the valve seat ring from being polished too much and affecting the compression ratio of the engine. In order to improve the sealing of the valve, we use the method of grinding the valve by hand. It is not that the high-end grinding machine cannot be used, but it is more cost-effective for the 60-year-old guy to operate manually. After a very white-faced operation, the sealing of the valve is tested. The master needs to test the intake valve and exhaust valve separately with mountain spring water. After ensuring that all valves are in good condition, the severely worn piston can be repaired. This kind of minor problem is very easy to repair under normal circumstances. In Pakistan, where accessories are hard to buy, it is relatively difficult because they cannot buy suitable accessories. The masters can only use angle knives to grind and cut the inner diameter. After gradually, they can enter the assembly process. This assembly process is very easy. After all, the internal structure of this single-cylinder engine is relatively simple. The masters are assembling it. It is even easier to install the side covers on both sides. The internal gasket needs to be replaced with a new one to prevent oil leakage at the subsequent joints. During the installation of this engine flywheel, because they do not have a high-end air cannon to assist, the masters can only use a small hammer to knock. On one side is the gear type installation master. The new gasket has been replaced. You only need to feel that the bolts are tight. On the engine piston side, because a new piston ring has been replaced before, they only need to use special tools. It was installed in place. The tile cover on the surface was tightened with a bent rod wrench. The installation process of the steel cover was simple and pleasant. We first installed the new cylinder electric and then installed the 6 fixing bolts in place. The whole installation process progressed very quickly. With the help of the masters, they quickly assembled this single-cylinder engine. To test the operation of the engine, they decided to supply diesel to the oil circuit first to facilitate the subsequent startup tests. It can be seen that the engine startup was relatively successful. What do you think of their maintenance skills? If there are 10 points, how many points would you be willing to give?